All right, so are you ready to dive into something really strange? We're talking drones over in New Jersey, but not just any drones.
Yeah, these aren't your kids' toy drones from the store.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And where they've been spotted, makes you think something else is going on. We're going deep with this one, all thanks to this YouTube video. It's from Caspersight. They really get into all the weird stuff.
It's like their own X-Files kind of deal, right?
Yeah, exactly. They're digging into the unknown, and they found a lot to dig into with this one.
What really gets me is that this case, it just throws everything we think we know about drones right out the window. We're not talking like little quadcopters.
Yeah.
Witnesses, they're saying these things are car-sized. And what they can do, I mean, it doesn't even make sense with the tech we have now.
And it's not like they're just flying around in the middle of nowhere either. They've been seen like swarming over places like Trump National Golf Club.
And get this, a military base, Picatinny Arsenal.
Yeah, if this was just some kid messing around, you'd think somebody would have stopped them by now.
Right. That's what everybody's wondering. Where are the authorities in all of this? Like, why haven't we seen anything official? No statement, no sign of an investigation. It's like they're totally ignoring it.
It's so strange. The Caspersight host, they brought up a really good point. Remember that whole thing with the Chinese spy balloon?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the government was all over that. Jet scrambling, headlines everywhere. But with these drones, nothing.
It is weird how different the reactions are. I mean, think about it. If these were just regular drones from like here, made by someone here,
Yeah.
wouldn't the government be freaking out about security? Especially with them flying over, important places.
Right.
Their silence is just, it's just strange.
Like they're saying nothing to see here while these crazy advanced drones are buzzing around a military base.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets weirder. Some people are saying that when they get close to the drones, their car clocks mess up.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. That's like straight out of those UFO stories. Electromagnetic interference. It's like a classic sign of tech that's way beyond us. But of course, without some real proof, it's hard to say for sure.
True, you can get caught up in it all and start seeing things that aren't there.
Ugh.
But still, the fact that nobody's saying anything officially makes it hard to just ignore. It's a big question mark hanging over everything.
And that question mark gets even bigger when you look at what these drones can actually do. We're talking flying for way longer than any drone we've got, those weird green lights. And they're silent. You don't hear them. These aren't your average drones.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
And to give you an idea of what it's like on the ground, the Caspersight video, they have this clip of a woman from Cherry Hill. She says she sees these things every night. She's not like freaking out or anything, but you can hear in her voice that she's just confused.
Yeah.
She doesn't get it. It's kind of creepy, too. She wonders if they hide during the day or if they come from somewhere else when it gets dark.
That mystery is what makes it so interesting, I think. We're dealing with something that just doesn't make sense with what we know about tech. And when we don't know something, it's unsettling,
Yeah.
even for people who don't really believe in aliens or anything.
So let's get to the big question. Are these things just super advanced drones made by somebody here, or are they something else entirely? The Caspersight host goes back and forth, and honestly, I can see both sides.
It would be easy to just say, oh, those are just secret government drones. But if that's the case, why have all the secrecy? And why are they acting so weird? Flying over a military base and a golf course owned by a former president, that doesn't seem like something the government would do even if it was top secret.
Yeah, it's almost like they want to be noticed, which makes it even more confusing.
Exactly. And that's why this is so interesting. It's not just about the drones themselves. It's about what it all means. Like, who's really in control here?
Okay, so we've got these mystery drones. They can do things our drones can't. Nobody from the government is saying anything. And a lot of unanswered questions. But get this. It gets weirder. The Caspersight host goes into all these triangle UFO sightings. And, well, that's where things get really interesting.
Yeah, the timing of all this with the drones in New Jersey lines up with all these triangle UFO reports from all over the world. Brazil, Southeast London. People are seeing these triangles up there. And it makes you wonder if it's all connected somehow.
So it's not just drones anymore. It's like there's something bigger going on, more organized. But what does it mean? What are these triangles trying to tell us?
That's what we're going to find out.
Okay, so we're going down this rabbit hole of triangle UFOs. And I got to be honest, I always thought those were a little more out there than your typical flying saucer.
Right?
But the Caspersight host, he actually goes and uses ChatGPT to try and figure out what these shapes mean, like symbolically.
That's so interesting how he's using like tech to investigate something that's been around forever, you know?
Yeah, and what he finds is that Triangles are actually pretty important in a lot of cultures and beliefs.
They are.
Like they represent balance and harmony in sacred geometry.
Yeah.
And some people believe they symbolize like a connection between Earth and like the cosmos.
Oh, wow.
And then he also brings up the fact that a lot of these triangle formations, they're seen near nuclear sites.
Oh, that's right.
And some people are saying that that could be like a message from aliens.
Yeah.
You know, like they're worried about what we're doing with all that power. Like they're saying, hey, we see what you're up to down there, and we're not so sure we like it. So we've got these drone swarms, maybe tied to triangle UFOs, a global thing that's been going on for who knows how long. But wait, there's more. The Caspersight video then goes to this video that's been going around. It supposedly shows an actual alien.
Oh.
This video is like 10 years old from Germany.
Okay.
People thought it was fake at first.
Yeah.
But now with everything else that's going on, people are looking at it again.
Makes sense.
And what's really interesting is how the Caspersight host reacts to it. He's like totally skeptical at first, even making fun of how the alien looks. But then he notices something weird. There are these reflections on the trees around where the supposed alien is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he plays the clip in the video, and you can see these reflections moving and changing as whatever's in the sky moves. Probably a UFO. It's subtle, but it definitely makes you wonder if the video's real or not. Like, could those light reflections be proof of something actually weird?
Yeah, I mean, that would be something else.
And here's where it gets even crazier. This guy, Dr. Stephen Greer, you know, he's a big name in the UFO world.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
He just released this picture of what he says is an extraterrestrial biological entity, like an EBE.
Okay.
And guess what? It looks almost exactly like the alien in that German video.
Oh, wait.
Suddenly that video doesn't seem so fake anymore. But to be fair, even Dr. Greer's picture has people doubting it. Some say it's another fake, others say it's real. We got to be careful, you know. Look at everything with a critical eye.
You're right.
Okay, so let's recap. We've got these drone swarms in New Jersey. They can do things our tech can't. The government's not saying a word. We've got these triangle formations popping up all over the world, maybe near nuclear sites. And now this old video that might actually show an alien that looks just like what Dr. Greer says is an EBE. It's a lot to take in.
It really is. It's like one crazy thing after another.
The question is, are all these things connected somehow? Are we seeing like a coordinated effort by aliens to show themselves? Or are we just making connections where there aren't any?
That's the big question, isn't it?
The Caspersight host seems to think it's aliens, but he also says his viewers should decide for themselves. He says, you know, truth can be stranger than fiction.
That's true.
And at the end of the video, he actually tells people to go back and watch some of his older UFO footage. He says it shows UFOs that you can't see with your eyes, especially during the day.
Invisible UFOs.
He even suggests that those drones in New Jersey might be using the same kind of tech to hide themselves, which is why nobody's picked them up on radar and why they just seem to appear out of thin air at night.
That's interesting. So they're like cloaked.
Yeah, that's the idea. It's pretty wild, and it would make this whole thing even more complicated. But if they're using cloaking tech, who made it? Is it the government? Some other country with super advanced tech, or something else entirely?
It makes you think.
Definitely keeps you on the edge of your seat, makes you want to dig deeper and find out more. But before we go too crazy with all the possibilities, let's take a step back and think about what we've learned so far. I mean, it really makes you think about how much we just assume we know about the world.
Yeah.
And then something like these drones shows up and it's like, nope, you don't know as much as you thought you did.
It's kind of puts things in perspective, doesn't it? Like how much we don't know, all this stuff that's still out there.
And it's not just about drones or UFOs either. It's like we got to approach everything with more curiosity. Be open to new ideas, even if they sound crazy.
I agree.
Like we're trying to solve a giant puzzle, but we only have a few pieces. We see all this weird stuff happening, drone swarms, triangle formations, those strange videos, and we can't help but wonder if it's all connected somehow.
It's hard not to try and connect the dots, isn't it? It's like our brains are wired to look for patterns, even if they're not really there.
It's easy to get caught up in all the speculation and theories and start jumping to conclusions. But I think we got to be careful too. Be skeptical, but also open-minded.
Yeah. A healthy balance is important. We got to be critical of what we see and hear, especially these days with so much information and misinformation out there.
Right.
But we can't just shut down every new idea either. There could be stuff out there that we just don't understand yet, stuff that could change how we see the world.
It's about being okay with not knowing everything, accepting that there are mysteries out there, questions we don't have the answers to yet.
And that's what makes this whole thing so fascinating. It reminds us that we're still exploring, still learning.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious what sticks out to you, the listener. What's the most interesting part of this whole thing? Is it the drones and how advanced they seem to be?
Yeah.
The fact that nobody's explaining it? Or maybe the idea that this could all be connected to other strange phenomena?
Whatever it is that makes you curious about all this, hold on to that feeling. Let it push you to keep exploring the unknown. Don't be afraid to ask questions, to challenge what you think you know, and to consider possibilities that might seem a little out there at first.
Because the search for knowledge, it's a journey. It's not about getting all the answers right away. And sometimes the most exciting discoveries are the ones that lead to even more questions.
That's true. So keep looking up, keep exploring, keep that sense of wonder alive. Who knows what we'll find out there?
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.